So I just got done building an ITX Plex rig using a Fractal Design Node 304, and this might have been the most frustrating build I've ever done in my life. This is just going to be a couple pieces of advice for people looking to build with this case, especially if you're looking to use a dedicated GPU. Random sidebar, look at how adorable this thing is. It's 2017 and we can fit i7s on a board that can fit in the palm of my hand. This thing is amazing. First and foremost, you're going to want to plan everything out as far as cable management goes before you even start building in this thing. My advice, get the USB 3.0, the HD audio, the little front panel connectors out of the way as soon as you can. On this, I actually use the clips on the top to cable tie the fan controller just to get that out of the way. Every little bit of cable you can get out of the way helps in this rig a lot. And that's mainly because of the power supply clearance. I actually swapped out the regular ATX power supply I had in this thing for an SFX power supply because I made the mistake of getting a motherboard where the majority of the SATA connectors were at a 90-degree angle off the side of the board, and it completely clipped into the power supply. Here's a picture I took of the power supply I started with compared to the little SFX Silverstone on the top. It's only 300 watts, but for a system with no dedicated GPU, it'll be fine. Also, you really need to realize that you're going to run into some clearance issues with a video card if you get a regular power supply with long cables. In the end, once you put in your hard drives, the space you had above the power supply is going to get smushed. Everything will fit, but it's going to be kind of tight, especially for your 24-pin connector. I'm just using two 4-terabyte Seagate NAS drives with a little SSD for the OS. Nothing special, but it definitely cuts into your space, especially having to get the SATA connectors in there as well. Here's a screenshot again of where the PCIe connector is in relation to the SFX power supply. Now keep in mind, a regular power supply is going to add about an inch and a half to that. So if you really want to go with an ATX power supply, I'd highly recommend you get really thin cables, like a fully modular one or something, because you're not going to have enough space to squish all of those in if you're going to do a really long video card. And this is just a test of the power consumption. Nothing special. It's using my kilowatt meter. This is from the time I hit the power button to the time it's actually getting down to its idle clock speeds within Windows. I was actually using my main desktop before it broke to host my Plex server before, and it was sitting at about 100 watts idle. This is actually really surprising how low this gets, because we're talking about a computer that's streaming 1080p files over the internet in some instances, and it's using about as much power as a light bulb during the worst part and half as much otherwise. It makes me a lot more comfortable keeping this thing on 24/7. Hopefully this was helpful to some people. I didn't really see that many articles online, especially on YouTube, for using a smaller power supply in a system like this, but it really helps, especially for dedicated video cards. Not only that, it helps keep everything neat and tidy so you have decent airflow, because those fans up front are tiny. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll leave the specs of the system in the description below, and thanks a lot for watching.